everybody, it's Jen again, and Eddie. Eddie. Y'all know if you ain't been here before, this is one of my cats, Eddie, and he likes to make his presence known, and he's my boss and supervisor. But I thought I would show y'all some of the meals that I'm prepping for next week. I pretty much have them all cooked now, and I thought we'd just do this a little bit differently, and I'll just show you some of the things I made. You're trying to take credit, aren't you, bud? I just fed you. You got food? Hold on. Cat owner problems, right? Yeah, I just gave you food. You just won't talk at me, huh? Let me show you what I made. So, I always go through and make myself a meal prep list. And this, I had to stir up some almond butter. I just used the natural almond butter that only has almonds as ingredients. And some of that oil got out on there. And it just is what it is. This is real life, right? So for breakfast, I showed you on my last meal prep. I'm still loving this. I made some crustless quiche. And I do a lot more vegetables and stuff than it calls for. And I had some bacon left over from last week that I had cooked up. So I cut it up and put it in there. And then I'm also having some chia puddings. And I've showed that before. Which I'm tweaking the recipe on that a little bit to get it where I am. But, oh, where I like it. But yeah, you can see. So I ended up making, I think, 6 of these. They keep for a long time. I was hoping more, but oh, and I also showed on to my days off I like fancy coffee. So I have a 3-day weekend this weekend, so I made me enough whipped cream for morning coffee for 3 coffees. So that takes care of breakfast. That is done. So see, quiche, chia pudding, cream and coffee. My chia pudding, I've been messing around with it because I used to put protein powder in it, and I'm finding certain protein powders I don't have a good reaction to. I don't know if it's because I'm going less and less processed food, but I don't know. I haven't had the time to really sit down and be like, is it the protein itself, or is it an ingredient they put in there? I about bet money that it's some type of artificial something or other they put in there, like a sweetener or something. But anyway, whole nother story, whole nother day. My work lunches for next week, I just only have to have 4 since we're off on Monday for Columbus Day. So I'm just got salads. They're already in there. And I'll just have lettuce. Well, they're not already in there, but the lettuce is already in there. There's no prep for that. I think I'll just have to wash the lettuce. I'll probably do that either Monday evening or Tuesday morning. And then I just picked tomatoes from my garden. I got 1 bowl that's still ripening, and then this bowl's ready to go. And then I have other tomatoes if that happens, and some citrus. Although I thought I would show y'all. I have like I guess I don't know if it's a redneck trick or what. So, you know, people have those fancy salad spinner things to get the water out of your lettuce and stuff. Well, I don't have one of those. This is a cotton netted bag. I think it's like a netted produce bag. And when you pull the drawstring, it's got a big old string on it. So I wash the lettuce, I put it in there, and I go outside and I fling it in a circle for a few minutes. Neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but it works great, and my lettuce lasts forever. Whole nother story, whole nother day. So, you know, breakfast, I always have about the same thing every day. I don't care to change that up, really. Salads, lunches, work lunches. I'll just pick one thing and I'll have it all week. Don't really care. Worst case, I can take one of my frozen soups or something out of the freezer. Now, dinners, I like to have my options. So, I showed y'all last week. I made the cabbage and beef casserole. I'll give you a side view here. See, it's cabbage on the bottom, and then the beef mixture on top. And I made the taco flavored one, inspired by a video I saw last week, which I'll link. All the ones I have recipes and stuff for, I'll link down below. This week, I made an Italian version. And I showed in my Yugo haul, I got a half pork, half beef. I did have to drain a lot more fat than I'm used to, but that's okay. And then I ended up making my own little tomato sauce that I let set in the herbs and stuff for a few hours before I used it. And just trying to get the flavor pumped up on it, because I made this before and it just didn't have enough. And then I cut up a bunch of fresh garlic and put it in there. And I tasted it as I was going. And I think this one's going to be pretty good, y'all. Going to be pretty good. Another dinner option I got. And I made 2 of these and we've already eaten one. Don't tell on me. Let me pull this out. We actually made a low-carb meatloaf, which is just basically, I used crushed up pork rinds instead of breadcrumbs or crackers. I don't know, I never made traditional meatloaf. I don't use regular ketchup. I use no sugar added ketchup or no unsweetened ketchup or what have you. I don't know. I thought, though, where I make that low-carb bread, I wonder if I could make breadcrumbs out of my low-carb bread. But pork rinds work fine. I don't put them in the food processor or nothing. I put them in a mason jar, or I put them in a Ziploc bag and take a mason jar and just beat the crap out of them. So, works fine. But here's the one that's left. This is kind of small. I had too much to go in one of these pans and about not enough to go in 2. But, oh my gosh, it's so good. And this is made with the local beef that I got at the farmer's market. What's it been, 2-3 weeks ago? Dear God, it's amazing. And with fresh parsley from my herb garden. I mean, I feel so frou-frou. I really do. But that one will probably be for my dad. His favorite thing to eat is meatloaf. And he's going to eat on this stuff too. This is all stuff he likes to eat. Sorry, I don't mean to spin y'all around. I'm just walking around like normal here. I'm about to start. I don't really need them, but since I have a 3-day weekend, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple loaves of bread. This is a low-carb bread from Deidre's Kitchen. I'll link that video down below. She also has one that you can make without a bread machine. She's got this fancy, like, Zojirushi, I think is the brand, bread machine. I have these old Kenmores that I bought a long time ago from Kmart. One of them I bought when I used to work at Kmart, if that's any indication. And one I got even a few years before that. We got them on sale for $29 a piece, if that tells you anything. And one of these was at my apartment, and one of these was here. And then when I moved back to my hometown here, they got combined. So they're still going. But it's a 2-pound loaf that we make. Not a gluten-free recipe, if that's your concern. But it is a lower net carb, and there's no flour in it. So I've showed that in previous videos, so I don't need to do that. And if I start these, they're going to be very loud. So I thought I would show y'all before that. That's the last thing I got to throw in. Now, trying to get everything else done before I do that, because this takes up half my counter space. So, it is what it is, right? And I made, let me take y'all back here. I made some bacon just to have on hand. I took the ones I had left over from last week and cut them up and put them in the quiche, like I said. And then I made a new tray for this week in case I want them to go on sandwiches, or if I make a little pizza or just whatever, or just bacon and eggs or whatever I decide. This stuff's interesting. It's the right brand maple flavored one that I got at Yugo, and it has 0 carbs in it. But, buddy, you eat it, and it tastes like it's slathered in maple syrup. I don't understand it. I don't know. It's peculiar. But I just made one tray of it, and I'm not going to save this grease because it's going to be maple-flavored grease. So, unfortunately, that will go out. So, that bonus food will go because my grease jar in the fridge is full anyway. But anyway, whole nother story, whole nother day. And y'all have a bacon grease thing that you save. So that'll get that for the sandwiches. And that, you see, I didn't bake it like the tray until there's like super crispy. I do it, well, let me show you what I'm talking about. Eddie, you're going to have to help me with this camera work. I am just flailing here, my friend. I am. I'm so happy you're gaining some weight. You're going to be normal weight soon. Oh, I love it. He's loving that refrigerated food. But I cook this to where, well, I guess I like really crispy bacon, but I cook this to where it is cooked, but it's not like super crispy. So, and then I put it in the fridge, and then throughout the week, I just have to throw it in a pan, do it like 60 to 90 seconds on each side, and it still puts some of that nice grease or fat in the pan that I can cook other stuff in, and then it just saves a lot of time during the week when I do that. And then these can be frozen at the end or repurposed into quiche or something, which these will probably just get frozen. I don't know if maple flavoring my quiche would be that good. Maybe it'd be amazing. Ooh, what if I did maple and sausage? Well, no. Well, bacon and sausage. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But, yeah. That's what I got for that. And I also made up some chicken thighs, which y'all don't need to see those. They're just plain old chicken thighs. I put salt, pepper, and paprika on because I had bought them at Yugo and I forgot, and it got to the day of. So I figured worst case, I just baked them, and if I don't get to eat them in the next 2 or 3 days, I will freeze them. So that is the theme. Make things to where if you can't eat the whole quantity of it, it can be preserved. Again, on a budget. Preservation is one of the biggest things on a budget. Because some items you can't make, like if something calls for an egg, you can't use a half an egg. So you end up having to make a whole batch of something. But whole nother story, whole nother day. The only thing I may get up to tomorrow, because I ain't doing it today. I've had this oven on all day and it is hot in here. Is I may look for some more pizza crust recipes. I think I've showed y'all I do have an almond flour crust recipe. It tastes amazing. I don't have any reactions or anything to it. But if you're somebody like me and you're trying to get healthy, and a big part of that is getting all my excess weight off and things, almond flour is insanely calorically dense. So please keep that in mind if you're doing like a I don't know what diets use a lot of almond flour. Well, if you use a lot of almond flour as like a replacer, it is extremely calorically dense. Let me show you an example. So the recipe I use for my almond flour crust, I actually split it in 4s and make like 4 personal pan pizza size out of it. Because if you were to make the whole pizza, it would be over 2,000 calories for just the crust. So I have these made up. And see, it's not very big. See, there's my hand. And I mean, I guess I have pretty good meaty paws, but still, it's not that big of a pizza, okay? That little crust, y'all, is over 500 calories, which is great on days where I'm low on calories. I haven't had time to stop and eat too much or anything, but I want to find one that uses the same type of ingredients that the low carb bread that I do. And I've made some low carb yeast breads. I made some garlic knots and some French style bread a couple months ago, which made me so happy because it's been before I've ever been on YouTube, but I used to love to bake artisan breads and things. I even wanted to go to school for it at one point. And so being able to play around with just yeast breads and stuff in a way that I can eat it. And well, I mean, I can eat any of it, but a way that I will eat because I know I'm not going to have a bad health reaction or inflammatory reaction for it. I guess I need to change the verbiage there. I can eat anything. Do I want to eat it? No. That's the thing. But, so I've seen some recipes, so I need to do some research on that. So I may get up to some regular yeast crust, and if that turns out pretty good, I'll have to report back to y'all. And the calories, I'll have to work out the calories to see if it's actually less and worth fooling with. I don't know. All right, so we got dinners together. So after dinner, about every day, unless I just don't feel like it, I have a yogurt. And y'all, I've showed you my yogurt. So it's actually already done because I got lost to what day of the week it was. And I got these done a day early. So I make up my yogurt and I go ahead and put it in these little pint portions. Right? Half pint portions. My friend Shanna's watching. She's going to crack up because like last time we were together, I could not say the name and the sizes of these mason jars correctly. And it makes up 8 of these. So we just put it in there. And then this is the whey that's left, and I will be using that as a replacement instead of the water in my bread. And it makes a really good, chewy, moist bread. And with that, during the week, as it comes in, my rule is, well, I'm going to show y'all real quick because I ain't leaving this refrigerator open. As I buy fruit and it comes in, it gets washed and everything before it ever goes in the fridge. So we got strawberries, we got grapes, we got blueberries. I think that's all. Oh, you can see my salad greens and lunch meat back there. Oh, and I also got peppers and 3 quarts of onions. Yes, I use lots of onions. Chopped up, and I find that when I chop them and put them in a mason jar like that, they've lasted me up to 3 weeks. Peppers, I only get about a week to 10 days out of. Onions, I can get 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks easy, sometimes 3 weeks, just depends. And they're already chopped and ready to go, right, Eddie? To go on pizzas, to go in eggs, to go anywhere, bud. And other fruit snacks. I showed y'all these plums. I only got 5 left because we've been eating on them. And oh my gosh, I have been loving these the more I'm eating them. I think that first one I got wasn't like a super ripe one. Almost like when you're eating a pear and, you know, you get the ones that are super ripe and, you know, the juice just falls down your chin. That's the way you want to eat it. I had one this morning of these plums that was kind of like that. And oh, dear Lord, it was good. Got my apples. I have about an apple a day. Got 3 Cosmic Crisp and 3 Honey Crisp. Because Cosmic Crisp, I love them. They're very expensive. So I'm trying to like alternate. And Food City had the Honey Crisp $1.69. So that was good. Right, Eddie? There's my little, I had some pork rinds left over from that bag I bought. If you make stuff out of pork rinds or eat them, please look at the ingredients on the back of them. A lot of them will put sugar and a whole bunch of bull crap in there. I found some that were just pork and salt. Right, Eddie? That's what we want, bud. And then I just have a few things. I showed y'all my maters. I got some big maters. I either slice these up and put them on a plate with some salt and pepper and eat alongside something, or put them on a sandwich. Got some more maters, got some garlic, oranges, grapefruit. And those fruits over there were moved over here because small house life, small kitchen life. Like, this is my prep area. I have my stove, I have this little countertop, and I have that little countertop, and that one's double duty. It does all kinds of stuff. And then this one's double duty. So yeah. I think I have a smaller kitchen now than I did in my little apartment. Yeah, because this is all used up for stuff. Oh, and my dishes are caught up as of right now. I got to brag on myself a little bit. Oh, I got to get that bull crap off of there. I think that's almond butter. I swear, almond butter is like glitter. I'm finding it everywhere since I spilt that little bit. Yeah, because I have to get this little rack soaking. I bought this pan, and I use it for my pork bacon. I don't fool with that for turkey bacon because it's just so low fat. I just put it on a regular, like the turkey bacon, I wouldn't fool with the rack. I would just put it right on the aluminum foil because nothing comes out. But the pork bacon, where it's so fatty, I like putting it up on this tray, but I have to wash the tray, but it's not too bad. I think that's everything, y'all, that I've made this week. No, it's not. Oh my gosh, I about forgot the most exciting part. So, we're combining worlds a little bit here. So, I got a Southern Living magazine in, and I don't know if all of y'all follow me over there or may not. I have an art channel where I do art journaling and with an emphasis on collaging, especially with magazine images. I just love them. I don't know if it's, you know, the 80s kid in me or what, but I love them. 80s and 90s kid. But, and while I was going through there and hunting fall images to use for an art video, I actually found a recipe that I was like, hey, that looks pretty darn good. So I've been making my dad, I showed y'all, let me show you again. I swear I'm all over the place. I appreciate y'all embracing it. But see, I make him these little pints. These are pints of the dry ingredients of overnight oats. And then he can just add fruit and liquid, usually milk. And, you know, stir that up good, put it in the fridge, and he'll have overnight oats in the morning. Well, this one is baked oats. And I thought, and I was looking at the ingredients, and I was like, well, shoot, fire, I have all that. So I made a copy of the page. Because the actual color page I ended up using in a fall junk type journal. So I made just a copy on our copier. And it's skillet baked almond and oatmeal. I don't know that I'll be able to find a link for this, guys. So I will just, hold on. Let me hold it up here. So that, just in case. But it's butter, ripe bananas, eggs, whole milk, almond butter, ground cinnamon, baking powder, honey, kosher salt, old-fashioned rolled oats, sliced almonds, sliced bananas. You mix all that together. Basically, you mix everything together first except the oats. Get all that whisked up good. Well, you smush the bananas in the bottom of the bowl. Get that smooth. And then you start whisking everything in except for the oats. And then once you get everything whisked together, then you'll stir in the oats. And then it says very quickly, get it put in a greased, used butter. This uses a cast iron skillet. I used a glass pan. And you put it in at 350 for around about 30-35 minutes. And this used a 10-inch cast iron. Again, I like things that I can store things in. And you're supposed to sprinkle it with additional honey and cinnamon. I may do that in a minute. And sliced bananas. I did not, let me show you. I did not put sliced bananas on top because we just won't eat it fast enough. Like, those bananas would probably go black. And I didn't have an extra banana. We only had 2, and I thieved those from my dad because he eats bananas every morning. And I didn't have sliced almonds, but I had whole raw almonds. So I just like, you know, haphazardly chop them real quick with a chef's knife on a cutting board. But oh my gosh, y'all, this smells like fall. And I was just thinking you could probably make a apple pie flavored. You could grate some apple and use apple pie spice and put some vanilla through there. And I don't know. I'll be curious to see how my stomach handles this because I've been able to eat some, I do not know how you say this. Let me show you. Muesli. It's this word here. Muesli. But it's been this kind I've been eating because I finally found 2 kinds that don't have fracking coconut in it. That's one reason I think when I first started losing weight and I was going low carb, I benefited more from not eating preserved stuff because I couldn't eat any of the preserved hardly low carb stuff because anything that's low carb out there is like got coconut in it, daggone it, but which was not to my detriment. But I've been able to eat that in like an overnight oat form in a smaller portion, so I'm hoping I'll be able to eat this because I think this would freeze fabulously. I don't think I'm going to drizzle the extra honey and cinnamon on top, but if I was making this for somebody and people were coming over, might do that. Because the only sweetener you add to this thing is a 3/4 tablespoon of honey. And unless you drizzle some on top, which I'm not going to do. And that's nothing. That's like, what, 5 grams of honey? That's nothing. So I'll be curious, but dear goodness, it smells like fall in here right now. This is amazing. And it'd probably look real pretty if you had those sliced almonds on there. Although this is rustic, right? This is rustic. But I'll be curious. Very clean ingredients. I wish I would have had enough organic oats. I'd rather used organic, but I have a bunch of non-organic. So again, on a budget, we're going to get through those first. But that was a new recipe I tried. So, and it's cooling. I think this will freeze very well in little squares. Yeah, it's just something to think about. That reminds me too, and I saw a comment from you from my last meal prep trailer, which I appreciate. All your comments about these silicone trays. which I think I haven't took out last week's yet. These super cubes I talked about that are expensive, but they seem to be real good quality. I follow their Instagram account, and I see people baking in those. So I may look into that, because this would be something I could bake right in one of those and make like a little loaf. I don't know. I don't know how thick this stuff is, like if it's liquidy or runny. I don't know. I literally took it out of the oven 20 minutes ago. But we will see, y'all. I'm tired, but that is the cooking I'm doing. And again, I'm doing a little more than I would normally do for a regular weekend, because I have a 3-day weekend. So I'm kind of getting ahead of it. Like I said, part of it, you know, when you got a schedule that can just get real busy at the drop of a dime, when the times that you have that extra time, you really have to take advantage of them. And again, I'm on a budget, so I try not to make more than I think we'll use. And if we do have leftovers, I always try to freeze them if possible, or get on somebody. Which, last week, my quiche and my cabbage casserole, y'all, I didn't have any leftovers. It worked out perfect. I ate the last piece of the quiche this morning. So, same with my chia puddings. I ate the last one this morning. This stuff, I ate the last piece or two last night. It's good. Yeah. Don't tell I'm rambling to keep from having to clean this rack here, but I'm going to get to it. All right. Let me know what you think about this type of style video. My maters have already been picked today. My dad picked those for me. He went outside. Oh, that air feels good. Ain't got no critters out. Oh, there's Cece, but she's kind of hiding. She's looking at me like, what you doing? Let's see if the boss wants to sign off here as well. Hey, Eddie. See, he's eating his food. He loves this stuff that I bought for Augie, but he loves it. And he's not sunk in hardly at all. He was sunk in completely on the back right here. And I don't know if I can show you. Look at that. He's just barely sunk in now. Like it used to, his bone stuck all the way out because of his thyroid condition. Eddie, you want to say bye? Alright, you go back to eating. I won't bother you. Alrighty. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all soon with something else. Bye, y'all.